Okay, perfect. We are live, I guess.
Yeah, we are live.
So welcome everyone. I hope you can hear us well. We are today very thrilled, very excited to be with Oleg. So indeed, it's a huge milestone for MechaChain. You sent us a lot of questions to understand a bit more what's happening to MechaChain and what will happen. So we have the new CEO Oleg here. And we are very glad to be with you today, Oleg. Maybe Oleg, you can present yourself and present Kevoru because a lot of people here they don't know you and they don't know your company.
Hello, everyone. Roman, thank you for the opportunity to talk, and also on a separate note, thank you for this cooperation we had and continue having, but in different format. So briefly about myself, I'm an IT entrepreneur for already 12 years. My background is from computer science, and I've been working on few games when I was a student. But since that, I was always on the business side. And after multiple years in a corporate and after business school and spending a few years in consulting, I set up Kivuru Games back 2011. Since that, we grew to the level of around 350 people based across all the countries. Not all, but around 35 plus countries. Since COVID, which allowed us working remotely, we recruit people globally. And right now we have around 40% of people based out of Europe, Asia, and even some people in LATAM countries. While still 60% of our people are based in Ukraine, Kiev mostly, and across other cities, mainly in Western Europe. So by nature, I'm a gamer, but right now my major role is making happen that the games we do for our clients are live. And since 2022, we've been working with the MechaChain project as a very dedicated partner. We've been working on full cycle game development. And a few months ago, we found the opportunity to take over the project on our end and to bring it to the next level. That's why we are having this call today to just announce this transition. And I want again to say thank you to all the team for MechaChain, which was a very fruitful discussion and cooperation through almost 2 years already since we first time discussed the project. And yeah, I'm happy to answer the questions you have, and let's go.
Nice. Thanks a lot, Oleg. Can you tell us a bit more about your team, your video game studio, and the major titles you have worked on?
Frank, thank you for the question. It's really a good one. I just want to say that we started as a small studio back 2011, just with few folks, and we grew over time. And since that, we've been working on multiple projects. The most prominent ones is Star Wars from Disney. It was some virtual experiences. Fortnite, we worked on few seasons for creating the skins and creating the experiences for them. We worked on few projects for Bandai Namco before, and also for Electronic Arts. It's from about the major ones. Regarding their projects overall, since inception of the company, we've been working for more than, I think, 200, 300 projects already, while every year we have around 100 plus projects from different sizes, from full cycle like MechaChain and a few others, to the projects where we have a team up to 1 to 3 people helping the companies to bring their ideas to life. Sometimes we are helping to move the project. Sometimes we're helping to resolve the issues with not only engineering, but also with the art side, with some special effects. And the most importantly, you as a player, so you know that optimization is very important. It's not only to create the idea, it's very important to make it happen so that you can play on your devices, not only having the idea and good picture while you have only 5 FPS, if you know what I mean.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Oleg. So we've got a lot of questions from the community. Now that you are leading MechaChain toward its success. So we've got a question from the community. Someone is asking, how do you plan to make money with MechaChain in the end, and why this acquisition?
That's a very good question. Why we took over the project, and it's our first experience. I want to be open, but we believe in the project. That's why we made this deal with MechaChain. How we want to make money? It's also a good question. I wouldn't disclose all the monetization things because until the game is alive, but we see the opportunities to make this game happen successful because for us not money but engagement is very important, and then monetization comes secondly. That's where we see the most of the opportunities from the recent play tests and how the players and testers receive the game. So I think to talk about how we will make money, it will be standard monetization things, but we are more focused right now on retention and the engagement of the players, which will make the game successful. That's how all the big titles are thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And so one important point you mentioned is that there was one question on the community whether Kevuru will have interest on the Web3 part in terms of token and revenue. And of course, I think it's important to mention that Kevuru will be holding all the ecosystem token that we were holding before, right? It's a full takeover of the company. So Kevuru will be benefiting from both the in-game operations as like standard monetization revenue, as well as the Web3 revenue as well, right? I think that's important to mention it here.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So there was one question for us actually. What will be the level of engagement and monitoring of the project by the core team in their role as advisors? So definitely, we will still be here as requested by Kevuru. So anytime Kevuru asks for advice or for insights, we will of course be here. And of course, we keep an eye on the project and provide advice as needed. We will of course follow the project, test the build, play MechaChain, and make sure that the project is going fine. So we will stay as advisor for the project. So a very good question, Oleg, from the community. How does Kevuru legitimately have to respect all this? Who controls and who will complain if not respected? So basically, the community is asking, we've got NFT lens, we've got mecha pilots, we've got an alpha, a beta. So we both know that we did things well to respect the commitment of the community, but can you just maybe emphasize the fact that all that was promised will be delivered as if we were leading the project?
Yeah, absolutely. And what we discussed in our agreement that all the commitments MechaChain team had, Kevuru will continue deliver that, and everything from mentioned at the very beginning of the project will be delivered to the community. That's why this partnership will continue for many years while the game is live.
Okay, great. I think that's what the community wanted to hear, because a takeover is always something where you have stress, but we believe that this is the best choice we had with a team like yours taking over and pushing the project way further.
Yeah, I think it's quite important to mention that the way that you discuss things together with Oleg were from the start considering the engagements we had toward the community, right? I think that's the very first thing we discussed together, Oleg, when we went through this new stage of partnership, right? So yeah, I think the community can rest assured on that side. I think it's going to be for the best on that aspect as well.
I've got another question. So it's more for our team, and it's why MegaChain, that is already so developed, is delayed by 1 year when the game could simply have updates. The answer here is the public full version is a little bit postponed, but the rest, alpha, beta, is only slightly delayed due to the transition. So we have to do a transition between MegaChain and Kevuru, and that's why there is a little bit delay.
So Oleg, someone is asking, when will the alpha be playable?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Right now, according to our plan, the alpha playable should be by the end of 2023, Q1 2024. Why that range? Because if you know game development, it's a very complex thing. It's not just simple software development, and there are so many uncertainties and things. But what we see at the moment, according to our plan, everything goes
Oh, Oleg, I think you have a bit of delay.
It's a connection.
Yeah, I think there is an issue with
It's fine.
Chrome on.
We can
It's
hear
not
you now.
connection.
We can
Yeah,
hear you
We
again.
can
Oleg.
hear you.
It's
Okay,
good.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, great. So a question you already answered. So confirmation that the promised benefits will indeed arrive, as well as a follow-up community. So that's really important, Oleg. Maybe you could explain the team you set up for the community building, and who will work and what are the background, because you've got some very talented players on your community team. So that would be awesome to, yeah, just tell the community that all the social media will be take over, and also who will take over that part.
Yeah, we have a full-fledged marketing department, but the narrative of our work didn't supposed to have community management before joining this deal. We actually have a person who is responsible for producing and having extensive, I mean, more than 7 years of community building in different companies before. And he will be supported by the other person who will be fully devoted to the project since I think next week or beginning of August. And these 3 people: marketing director, lead community manager, and community manager will be responsible for not only leading the communications but also to respond to questions the community might have.
Okay, perfect.
There is few question in the on YouTube. I can bring them on if you want.
Just we finish the
Yes.
AMA question, please, before. So what question do we have? So there is a question about if we if the tokenization will still be worked with machination. Actually, I can answer that. We've got work with Alexander from your team, and so definitely we will still work with machination for the full tokenomics. Thibaut, you have a question from the community. How many tokens have the founder and now Kevuru? Who will have the contract, and what is exactly the vesting for the founder and Kevuru?
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, that's something that Oleg could answer as well, but basically I can sum it up pretty quickly. So what happened is that the current founders token, so I don't know, there is a mention from Tuyo about some...
Yeah, so I know
referral.
what it means. So it was a tracking link, and the token from referral were not distributed.
Yeah,
actually.
there were like no this thing. There were no like token from the referral for the founders. But what we have as founders is indeed 10% of the supply, which are founders token. So those tokens are in a smart contract and they are still vested. So what will happen with this token is that we split the tokens between Kevru's founder, so Oleg, and us. So we still keep a part of those tokens. Kevru will have a part of it. And we also discussed with Oleg, and we plan to apply one more locking and vesting to those tokens so that it reflects the new timeline of the project. So I think Kevru will communicate on exact plan for locking and vesting the token again pretty soon, probably on Medium. So yeah, I think that answers the question.
Yeah. Oleg, can you talk a bit about can you talk a bit about the publisher, the publishing side for the MegaChain project?
That's a very good question. We're in the process, and until the deal has been completed, which is almost done, we have some just things to finish, but we're in the process of talking to a few publishers, and we have some very positive feedbacks, as I mentioned before, from testers and players who get access to the game, to the build. And we expect to have results about the publishing because of summer period and vacations, not until the middle of September, which we will also share with the community, and we will keep you in touch about this progress as well.
That's very good news, because we know that we need a publisher to make a game successful. So Tuyo is asking, so those tokens were not expecting to be held by per founder on beginning. This is an additional bonus that you just took from community. No, they were not distributed. These tokens have not been distributed. So there is no...
just to be very clear, because maybe it's confused, founders did not have any token from the ICO, like no token at all. The referral link was just a tracking link. And what we have is the founders token found that's described in the tokenomics and the white paper everywhere. And those tokens were never moved, and they won't be moved because we'll be locking them again together with Kevru.
So we have the feedback. We will give you the best feedbacks after a play test with us. So some people are really waiting to play the game. That's good. So yeah, so basically, maybe for the community, you can explain what a publisher is, and how it can benefit the whole project.
Publishing side is important to promote the game on a completely different scale, and publishers' specific role is to utilize the community they have, and it's significantly bigger than anyone can attract, and everyone knows that user acquisition is very expensive, but publishing side will help us to make the game successful, not only through marketing, but also receiving the feedback from the experience of multi-years publishing the same style of games to different platforms. But for us, it's very important to be present on mobile, as it's our first platform. That's why publishing side will be even more crucial these days, because mobile market is very, very competitive.
Okay, perfect. That's great. What else do we have for questions? Oh yeah, so I don't know if you answered, but what happened? Oh yeah, so that's for us, sorry. Frank, you want to...
Yes, of course.
Okay.
The question is, what happened to the pilot locks by the team, and above all, to the legendary lens that you have took care to keep? Every founder has one legendary lens and one pilot, and we keep it because we trust the project. That's all.
Yeah, and like regarding the fund that the company has, so the company itself, not us, does have some pilots and some lens, and those will be transferred, of course, to Kevru as well. But basically, it's the same company, right? It's the takeover of a project. So all the assets of the current company will be in the hands of Kevru, and that will be managed in the best way.
Okay, so we've got a question. All communication will only be in English for the future. Not everybody from the early stage of the project speaks English. So that was actually a problem that we had, is attracting people being native and English. So I think talking in English and expanding marketing in English will be the key in order to attract more people. But yeah, definitely we will still have some French resume being done, etc. So it will be easy to follow, but the communication will mainly be in English from now for sure. Okay.
Just to let know to the community, I've been living in France for 1 year, studying in the business school INSEAD. Unfortunately, my French skill set is not as I would expect, because education was in English, but I really appreciate and love French culture, especially cuisine.
Okay, perfect. So what else do we have for questions? I'm just looking.
Which major games that was answered? What will happen to them? Any ideas?
Oh yeah, so that's a good question. So what will happen to Discord, Twitter, Telegram? So like Oleg said, community team is taking over, and you might have seen that some people joined, some community managers joined the account already, and so they will be kept. Everything will be kept and managed by Kevuru. So
Absolutely.
so yeah, everything will be kept, and communication will be frequent. So no worries about that. If you have any questions in the chat, in the YouTube chat, you can ask them right now.
So what will happen to the actual Discord? That's okay. Will Kevuru be more transparent and budget allocated on several domains, marketing, development, communication? Also, question linked by Tuyo as well. Can you share us the wallet address? Where are those tokens, please? So Tuyo, we made a Medium post quite a back ago, actually straight after the ICO, with every single address on Polygon and Ethereum of every single smart contract on the company, and all the tokens are there. So it's fully transparent on that aspect. You can go there, you can read the code, you can see like the lock period, you can see everything there. So yeah, it's already there.
So one very good question: will our moderator be linked? Oh, sorry, you.
I think maybe Oleg, do you want to talk a bit about like the transparency aspect of things? Like in terms of communication, how do you plan to communicate to the community for like the development? Do you plan to like do regular updates on these kind of things to explain a bit like how
the project is moving forward?
How the project is moving forward, basically, and.
So basically, we plan to share all the stages at least once a month, and to show the progress on some video screens and how it goes. And we hope that maybe we can also attract some people for early access even before the end of this year, to get the feedback from the game, and to get maybe that feedback in September, October, and the game will be well progressed to such tests.
Okay, perfect.
Guys, we also really rely on you, because it's our common success, and we will definitely need your support and getting fair feedback so that we can address it for future success of next builds.
Okay. So some people are asking about the delay of the alpha. So if so, yeah, we talked that at the end of the summer an alpha would be accessible. However, it's a bit postponed. Oleg, maybe you can talk about that. I know that it's a way to give a better alpha, a better experience, but maybe you can talk about delay in video games and why it's postponed for a few months.
That's a very good question, and frankly speaking, I cannot say that what was like initial goal, but from their findings, we've been working with Mecha Chain team on the game. We saw a lot of things which has to be improved, and we have been working on improving the mechanics which would make the game interesting. That's why the main difference of Mecha Chain projects versus 99.9% of other Web3 projects is that we are thinking about the players, not about the delivering on time. And if you know, there is like multiple projects. The most prominent is a Star Citizen, which collects, I don't know, $500 million and still didn't deliver anything significant for community. The delay we have at the moment is very normal. It's 4 months from August, September. That's where we see no issue at all. But we definitely know that we are working on success of the game to make it interesting. Once again, retention and user experience is the most important thing in the games.
Yeah, and that's what will also power the full Web3 ecosystem with NFTs, etc. It's a whole ecosystem. So definitely, I think what lacks for Web3 games right now is games that are being played, and that's why we are so happy and so bullish with you, Oleg, because you know how to make games fun, you know how to keep players, how to advertise game, and that makes a huge difference between Mecha Chain and all the other projects out there. And so that's why we are really happy that a professional team takes over like you, because in Web3 games, the core thing is game, and without the game, the ecosystem cannot expand, and it's not sustainable.
I think that's also kind of linked to your last question. What's the strategy to gain visibility on these kind of things? So as Roman mentioned, what we are very happy about is that Kevu is really all about the game and making a great game, and that's a huge difference with a lot of Web3 projects that only thinks short term and like don't really rely on the quality of the game. So basically, I think the main strategy, Oleg, you can confirm for Kevu to get visibility as to actually make the best game possible, right?
Yes, yes. And once again, I want to emphasize there that our cooperation is based on Mecha Chain team values and Kivuru values, which again shows our desire to make game interesting and successful to the players and to the community. That's why we are taking over this project. And we again, we don't want to compare to everything what's happening right now in Web3 market. We know a lot of projects which are fairly fraud from the very beginning. And the project of Mecha Chain is the only one in our history as a company to take over and to make it happen, because we again believe in the project. We took whole responsibility from the very beginning, and we put all our efforts and gut to make the game successful and interesting, the most important.
Thibaut, we've got a question for you for the Mecha Chain dashboard and the reward investing.
Yeah, so actually, I'm currently talking with your team, Oleg. So there is a dedicated developer that will take over the Mecha Chain dashboard on Kevu's side. Very good developer, Web3 developer, and the dashboard will be maintained by Kevu. It will stay the same, and it has like even planned to add more feature to the dashboard, from what I understood. So some feature of the game will actually happen straight on the dashboard. Some will stay in the game. So yeah, the dashboard will be there to stay, and it will be continuously developed by Kevu, right, Oleg?
Oh, we've got a very
yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Okay, Oleg, what is your marketing strategy for the next month? Are you waiting for the next bull run? That's a great question for your community management team, I guess. If you got some insights, maybe you can share them, and otherwise, I guess everything can be written in the next medium as you'd like.
At the moment, what we discuss with Mecha Chain team is focus on creating the experience, and the marketing will derive from showing that experience to early players, building the next builds based on the feedback, and after that to make the game publicly available where you'll be playing, and then we will attract more and more players through possible deal with a publisher. That's what I answered before. We are working to get a well-known publisher to promote the game to the next level.
Okay, perfect. Frank, there are still some questions in the file if you want to ask them.
Yes, there is a question about the white paper, and someone asked if the white paper will be updated, and of course with I think some modification about maybe the script, maybe the new team at the board, and there will be some explanation about Kevuru and what Kevuru will do inside. So it's really important to keep the white paper updated,
So
of course.
I've been in contact with your team, Oleg, and so they are actually changing some part of the website right now, and we discussed the white paper part. So indeed, it will be done for sure.
Also, will be updated by Kevuru,
Yes,
right?
yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I think it's very technical detail, and everything has to be done. It will be done. My personal focus and the core team focus is again to make the game successful. That's what I am devoting a lot of my time, except of other projects we run at the company, to see that the game is progressing. And on a daily basis, we have the meetings, and I see the builds. And I'm very happy with what's happening at the moment.
Yeah, we were just playing the game for a few hours today, and yeah, we are really excited to show everything. So that's a great question from Seb. Oleg, is the game going to be only mobile, or do you plan to make it to cross-platforms?
That's a really good question, Seb. Thank you for asking. And we had actually some idea to make the game PC first and then mobile. We definitely have planned to make the game cross-platform, but at the moment we are focusing on mobile platform first and then to see what can be done for the other platforms.
Okay, perfect. So you don't exclude the fact that maybe one day Mecha Chain might be on PC.
Okay.
And hopefully on consoles as well one day.
We really hope.
No strings attached. Yeah, not yet.
It's it's one of the great thing and really think that excites us about this operation is that the landscape of what the game can become and Mecha Chain can become is really wider now. Even from the publisher point of view, all the network you have, I think it's just really exciting to think that it will go even further than what we imagine. So.
Yeah, that's basically the whole point of this acquisition by Kevuru. Like it's seeing our work get transformed and pushed forward by your team, and that's actually very I'm really happy about that because when you work 2 years on a project and then you know that it's in good hands, that someone can market it and upgrade it better than us. Definitely, it's huge news for our team and for the community.
Yeah. There is another question. Will it be possible to send feedback to Kevuru team in order to help and to improve the game, or just to give some suggestion from the community?
Absolutely. As I said, once we're ready to get the build spread through limited number of players, we possibly make some, depending on how many volunteers will be ready to play the first builds, we'll select a few dozens of early adopters, and definitely would appreciate your feedback because the only feedback we need is the feedback from the players.
Of course. And there is another question. If it's possible, could you explain what will happen to the main Twitter account, to the Discord, to the Medium? Yes, but the question.
Okay.
Yeah, again, I think
I think we are getting more and more questions we have already answered.
Of course.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, I want to say that you can continue asking the questions through Discord, and we have transition period. Maybe we will have some delays, but let's say by the end of this month, beginning of next, you'll get the dedicated person who will be responsible for all the questions you address to us to be answered respectively on time.
There is a question from Seb. I think that's quite important. Is what's the point of alpha players to test the game? It's so this is still planned, right? So the 2000, so the pilots NFT collection, as well as some staking advantages, and all of those have different access to different steps of the games, and this is something that we kept together, right, Oleg? So can you just reassure the community that they will have exclusive access to the alpha with their pilots, NFT, and these kind of things?
Yeah, that's what we discussed with you, that the pilots and the lens which has to be delivered at alpha, they will be delivered.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, I mean, the engagement and the thing that were announced for various NFT collection and these kind of things, these kind of advantages are still maintained. So I think probably a bit of clarification will be like needed on the. I think it was the pilot pass on the last degree of pilot pass. We discussed this last time, and the pilot and the different role of those. So yeah, I think clarification article on Medium could be done, and will help Kevru to understand really like thoroughly what the advantages were, like what kind of advantages were given to each pass and these kind of things. But this is already something we communicated to Kevru, and yeah, I don't think there is any issues on that aspect to answer your question, Seb. And I think when Oleg mentioned he will select tester, it's not, we are not even talking about the alpha, it's even earlier than this, right? It's really like early builds. So it's only like a dozens of players that we are talking about, and those will be selected in the core community. This is something different, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to emphasize why we are selecting just a few dozens of people. It will be enough to collect the feedback. Having more people, it will make the process much more complicated to us to collect the feedback and to receive the game with what we expect to get by the end of the year.
Absolutely, yeah. This is something a bit different from alpha. Like alpha is really something, it's not open, but it's already quite a wide scale, and a lot of player playing in and everything. So there is always some steps before, which are kind of like internal tests with a few core member or maybe selected, handpicked in the community. Or so, yeah.
So there is a question by Tuyo that's really important. Are you concerned by the token price? Currently, early investors are just losing money. What are you going to try to solve that issue? So definitely, when MechaChain was launched, it was during a bull market. So money was flowing out of crypto, and all Web3 game were just pumping like crazy. Then came the bear market. Our goal, and that's why we are actually ending up the project and doing this super transition with Kavuru, is to have the best game at the best time possible. So when all Web3 games take off. And our goal with all of this is to have a stronger company, to have a stronger game, and also a more powerful marketing. So definitely, Thibaut, if you want to add something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely the goal is to have the best product at the best time. And we are very concerned by the price, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a big point. It's something that it's like the token price is not something that we can control, right? We can try to do some marketing on it and these kind of things, but basically you cannot go against the flow. So it means that when it's unfavorable market and this kind of thing, you cannot do much about the token itself. So the best thing we can do from the project on the long run is to ensure that the game is continuously being developed and will be in the best shape when it go into the market. And I don't know if you have a big overview of the whole Web3 gaming market, but this is already a huge difference compared to a lot of other projects. Is that MechaChain is still here, it's still being developed, and it will even be more developed to a wider scale than it was supposed to be developed at the beginning. So you can look at the chart of Mechanium, which of course follows the market and is not that great for now. But you can also look at the stage of development of the game and the way it's heading forward. And in those terms, I think we are definitely surperforming most of the other Web3 projects of gaming.
Yeah, definitely. So is stacking going to be maintained or reduced? Thibaut, if you can talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the dashboard will still be online. The stacking will stay the same. So it's a pool that's on smart contract. Actually, even if we wanted to, we wouldn't be able to interrupt it. It's smart contract based, right? But the point of blockchain is that we cannot change things as we want. So it's here to stay.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just going to check if we have other question on the file. Okay. Okay, so yeah, the question, how many tokens have the founders and now Kevuru will be answered on a Medium. So yeah, so you answered that.
Yeah, already answered.
Yeah.
So basically, there is it will be split between Keru's founder and us. So we'll keep a bit of a founder's token and we'll lock those additionally, but that will be a dedicated medium from Keru to exactly explain what changes, lock, vesting will happen with the token.
Is the launch of the game will be worldwide or one country after one? And Oleg, how do you plan to communicate about it? So you talked a bit about the publisher, but maybe you can talk about is it launching worldwide or only in one country?
That's a very good question. And according to our strategy in regular game development, it will be soft launch through limited number of countries. Usually it's 2-3 countries. And after receiving the feedback, it possibly will be, not possibly, highly possibly will get some feedback which we will need to address. And only after that, we will go for global launch.
Okay. Perfect. Thibaut, question for you. By the way, we've noticed that APR of stacking is going down day by day. Is there a good reason?
Yeah, so basically the way that the APR works for the staking is pretty common. So it's based on a pool, right? And we got a constant amount of token that's given every block during the whole duration of a stacking contract. And what happens is basically that if more people are staking into the contract, so more staker, more amount, then the APR goes down. So basically, an amount is given at every block, and it's divided by the amount of token that you put in the pool as well as the wave. So the wave is based on the duration of your lock. And yeah, so that's pretty standard. It's how dynamic staking pool works. So yep, that can explains why the APR can vary. So sometimes it's going down. Actually, when it's going down, it's quite a good news because it means that a lot of people are staking, so engaging themselves in the project.
Okay, good. Okay, role as advisor, we answered already. Okay, so this, I think, just looking at questions.
There is a question from Kira. Can you please talk about the advantages of a pilot pass for NFT? So I just wanted to address this question because it's something that we already talked during the last AMA. So I think one of the most asked question was how it's going to work compared to the last pilot pass and how it's going to work in comparison to the pilot NFT collection. So we will answer this question through a Medium article where we'll really break down and explain everything. So we'll pick the solution that's the best and also in agreement with Keru on that aspect. But yeah, I think it's better to describe it in Medium. Yep.
Oleg, one question that is really interesting about the universe of MechaChain. How do you plan to keep the universe of MechaChain intact? How do you plan to? Yeah, because we created a lore, a story, etc. how, as a team, do you plan to keep the magic together?
That's a very good question. The only thing I can answer that we have a big team behind their game, and not only our core team of game designers, it's a team of 3, and it's only people who are thinking about the game design and how the game should progress. But we have in Kivuru a team of around 20 game designers who are contributing some ideas on our by weekly and monthly meetings where we discuss different ideas through different projects. That's where we see the big opportunity for us to maintain growth of mecha-chain universe in the future. But right now we are focusing on what has to be delivered and what we have in our plan, so that we can make step by step. Let's say the elephant should be eaten by from the first bite, not whole at the moment.
Okay, and are you considering Web3 partnerships in the future in order to gain more exposure in the Web3 world?
Absolutely, and we already have some plans which we discussed with Roman, Tiba, Frank, and Max. So let's deliver the game, and then we see what the marketing channels could be beneficial for game promotion. But definitely it's in our radar as well.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Guys, do you have any more question on the file?
To go for
It's okay.
I think we are okay.
There is Bene. Nice to meet you, Oleg. I'm happy your great studio is now on charge on our beloved project MechaChain.
It's not only now. We've been working for a long time. Yes, so
yeah, that's something also. I think that's important to say it, right? It's also in regard of the universe. Of course, like we created the basis of the universe together, and for sure, it was the initial idea, but a lot of contribution came from Kivuru as well, even in terms of visual and everything. So basically, until now, like the universe, everything you saw in MechaChain is a collaborative work we had together. So we are not worried. It's our baby, right? Like the universe and itself, and we are confident giving it to Kivuru.
We are
So,
not only confident, we are really proud actually to have this project fully developed by your team. And definitely when Web3 market picks up and so on, we have, and I'm sure since the beginning, one of the greatest Web3 projects out there in terms of quality, in terms of gameplay, in terms of potential. So I cannot wait to see MechaChain reach new heights in your hand, Oleg. And that's really good. So we are really proud of that. So yeah, some people are asking if France will be able to play the alpha. Oleg, I let you answer that, but I don't see why France would be blocked.
Yeah, I don't see it either. So the game will be, once it's public, it will be available for everyone. But again, we will be communicating our marketing plan. And as I mentioned before, possibly the game will be restricted to few countries to get there some response and understanding the game retention. And then after it released for global release, everyone will have the access, and we hope that you'll get your friends to play as many as possible. We have to make the game the most popular game on mobile market in 2024. That's our goal together.
That's definitely what we want to hear, and I'm sure there is a lot of potential for that. So okay, so maybe guys, we can have a little word for the community for all the 2 years that have been done. So we are really proud, Oleg, to make this transition happen. guys, if you have any questions, you can ask them on Discord and everything. I guess the community team will pick up and answer those questions. So Oleg, we cannot wait to see MechaChain completed, rocking with marketing, a lot of players around the world playing, a full Web2 and Web3 ecosystem connected. Well, I guess it's beyond what we ever dreamed of. So Oleg, thank you so much for this. And if there are any questions, again, ask them on Discord. That's where we will pick them. So
yeah,
guys,
and thanks a lot to the community for making all of that happen. It's I think to every stage of a project, of course, all projects will say this, but for us, we can say it for true, is that we really thought about how to make it the best project for the community. Of course, it wasn't always easy. And of course, it's normal that you question things, you ask like, where are the tokens? Like, did the founders have like specific token on these kind of things? Of course, all we can say are words, right? Because that's only, or you can check with smart contracts, and that's very easy actually to check. That's the point of blockchain. But yeah, we are very proud of like this posture that we had, always putting the community first. And I think even Oleg, when you talked together, you told us that a lot of projects approached you for like gaming, and a lot of Web3 project came to you for development, and it's a space where a lot of people are not really true to their words. They don't really respect their community. They just seek immediate profits, and they don't look on the long run. And that's what we did, and we can assure you that the move that we are doing right now is for the best of the project. It's for the best of the universe of what we created, and it's definitely for the best of the community. So yeah, we're really excited, and we really hope that you can feel a bit of that excitement as well. And we hope you will bring us your continued support to the project in Kiru's hand.
Absolutely, and we are not saying bye. We just continue our partnership, but on a different level.
Absolutely, yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, I update all the time MechaChain to see what I can play. So it's always a good thing to have like the little pop up in your email, and you check what have been done. So I'm really proud already of what MechaChain became, and I'm really grateful of all the community, all what happened with our journey. So yeah, we really enjoy with all the team. And say, Roman, you would like to say something to the community as well?
Yeah. So as I said, I'm really proud. We have something that is a jewel, a game that has the potential to do really great. So I'm really happy for that. A game that does great brings a lot of people. Bringing a lot of people bring people on Web2 and Web3. So I guess our ecosystem is ready for a successful game. And as I said again, this move is probably the best we could have done and dreamed of for the community, having a professional team taking over. So I'm really grateful for that. Cannot wait to see what will happen. And yeah, I'm a bit emotive because it will definitely, we worked really hard on this, and it's only the beginning of a new chapter. So thank you, everyone. Oleg, now it's your turn to show the strength of MechaChain.
Oh, I think you are mute, Oleg.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Roman. Thank you, team. And I believe that we'll be working together to make the game happen, to make the success of the game happen. And as I said again before, team and community are very important to make our success together. So we'll be working and communicate and asking for your reviews and feedback quite soon. So stay tuned. Thank you again for trust and for contribution.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye.
Au revoir.